Yep.
Okay, welcome everybody here in the room and online to the Guilford Selectboard meeting. It's about 6:31 on Monday, July 28th, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Chip,
Yes.
how about the rules of procedure?
Okay, how about that? Sure. Vermont's open meeting law 1 VSA 312H requires that the public be given a reasonable opportunity to express opinions on matters considered by the board, provided order is maintained under reasonable rules set by the chair. The select board invites public comment on each agenda item, an approach designed to support public engagement and meaningful participation in the board's decision-making process. To help keep the meeting on track, time limits will be applied and comments should remain focused on the agenda item being discussed. There we go.
Thank you
You got
so
it.
much, Chip. Okay, have we any changes to the agenda order?
No.
We have an additional motion, but it's not a change to the order.
No change.
Okay, are there any public comments, either here in the room or online?
You need to talk about the Zoom.
Yes, there's someone in the meeting named Zoom. Can you please use your first and last name, or you will be put back in the waiting room?
Thank you, Erica. Okay, any public comments? Okay, well, I actually have one that we're planning a not surprise party for Shirley Squires for her 95th birthday at the Brattleboro Community Center on August 23rd from 2 to 4. And you will be hearing more about it, but those who can come, I just want you to have advanced warning, okay? Any other public comment? Okay, then we can go on to the approval of the minutes of the 7/14/25 meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of the 7/14/25 meeting.
And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you so much. Is there any comment? Okay, all in favor, since we are all together,
Aye.
indicate by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we have passed the motion.
I abstained because I wasn't at the meeting.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, I missed it, sorry.
No, but I should have gone through the rote.
No, it's okay.
That was the
Just
wrong
saying it for the record.
procedure.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
I'm not
there
that
we
much
go.
of a stickler.
I like our procedures. Okay, so the next thing is we're moving on to finance. Tara, would you like to lead the motion for the warrants?
Yes, I move to accept the warrants as written. Payroll week 7/20/25 is $10,850.69. Payroll week 7/27/25 is $9,824.10. Expense warrant number 2602 is $34,188.86 for a total of $54,863.65.
Thank you, Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Invoices of note for tonight are $10,854.04 for Blue Cross and Blue Shield. That is a monthly premium and there is a new rate. We paid $2,567.20 to DJs for work on the 2016 International and the 2022 International dump truck, both dump trucks. Roberts Energy was $1,432.01 for diesel. Traffic Logics was $8,600, and this was for 7-year cloud monitoring for the new speed radar signs. This was the balance from the ARPA award for the 4 signs that were purchased in 2024, and we had a free year, so now we're starting payment. We paid $1,218.20 for July and August for animal control to the Windham County Sheriff. For the sheriff officer contract. And that is in line for the fiscal year 26 Guilford budget. We paid $1,218.20 to the Windham Regional Commission, and that's for the Slate Rock Culvert project management. The source of those funds came from 010, which was the highway surplus. That's gonna be reimbursed through the V-Trans TAP grant. And then we paid $3,942.68. That's a quarterly assessment to the Wyndham Solid Waste Management District.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the warrants? Okay. All in favor of approving those warrants, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Okay, we have passed the warrants. Next, we have updates and reports. And so first we'll hear from Erica, our town administrator.
Okay, hello everyone. I'll try to keep it brief today. So over the last couple of weeks, we in the town office have worked on the tax rate calculation, which we'll talk about later today. With Uriel, the town clerk, I proofread the Guilford Guide from a town office perspective. So I feel like we're solid there. All the information in the guide is approved by the town clerk and the town administrator. Got some good stuff in there. We got our new 2025 roadmap from Wyndham Regional Commission, and that is on the website now. Under Docs and Maps, it's called Roadmap 2025. My assistant town administrator, Lorena Cuevas, is getting very good. She has never done this before, but at editing and posting videos on the site for all the commissions and committees and listers and auditors that have meetings that have required recordings. So good for Lorena. Highway job is posted. Paving on Guilford Center Road RFP is posted. And we finalized, well, the listers finalized the grand list last week, and that is now up on the Guilford website as well.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions for Erica? I know how much has gone into many of these items, Erica. You introduced them briefly, but I know how consuming many of them were, so thank you. Okay, next we'll have a report from the Guilford Free Library. So I imagine that is on the screen.
There's Amber. I'm gonna unmute
It says-
Amber. It says Guilford
Free Library.
Oh, there she is. Okay, unmute.
Hello.
Amber.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we make her bigger?
I'm going to share my screen too, if that's okay. But I'm coming to you from the children's room of the Guilford Free Library. If you haven't been here for a bit, we do have some new furnishings that we were able to add care of a grant that we received in the fall for $5,000. But I do have some updates and some pictures to show from some programming that we've had. So I'll send a share request to you. Is that working?
The request was granted.
Yes, so now you have to share, I guess.
Right, okay. Now I actually have to share. Got it. How is that?
Fine.
Great. So we had a great end of school year season and beginning of our summer. We had a party at the library on the last day of school where kids just got to relax after an early release from school. They painted this rock snake, which is out in front of the library, named it Jeffrey with a silent P. I think they were learning about silent letters that week, so it's extra silly. But it's really colorful if you want to walk along the front way. We introduced our summer reading challenge, which is visiting the library 6 times throughout the summer to get a prize, a treat at the country store. We are thankful to Rock Construction for paying for these prizes for this fun challenge. We have probably distributed 45 to 50 of these challenge bookmarks, and people are working their way through them. A few creamies have been had. I like to add pictures of the front walkway. The chalk drawings have been so fun. Lots of dinosaurs and other animals. We're in the third week of our 3 weeks of free library camp, our summer reading program camp at the library. They're all for different age groups. The first group was 3rd through 6th graders, and they focused on building a tiny world, both sort of theoretically with the idea of electing a board of select peeps. And they created these tiny peep characters that had occupations and hobbies and other fun things that they did. Here's a picture of them making tiny books with Linda Lemke. They were so beautiful. Here's their tiny food that they served at their fair in the Weeks Forest. These are peeps in a blanket. And what's the other one? I can't even read it. There were anyway, it was just incredibly fun and beautiful. A picture of our new back stairs. I don't know if you've seen them, but we were very happy. And thank you to Erica and the select board for helping this go through. We've got some very safe, sturdy, beautiful stairs done by Kyle and Chris Parker. And so we're very pleased about those. And then just a few programs that we've had. We've had these 6 weeks. This is our last week of Zumbini, which is like movement and dance for 0 to 4-year-olds on the lawn at the library. It's been really well attended. Upwards of 8 kiddos each week are coming, which is really great for our programming. And then we've had 3 of our 4 library dance parties out in the back with a local musician with live music. It's been really fun to move around. It's nicely shaded back there in the evening, so we've been having such a great time. And then the last thing I want to share is just a comparison of our monthly library statistics from June 2024 to June 2025. I think what we're seeing is that the greater investment in both the library director hours, which allowed us to open the library more, and the extra books and services line has really paid off. We have an 89% increase from these 2 months in physical visits to the library from people. We've had a 59% increase in books and other materials checkouts from 324 to 514, and a 140% increase in ebook and e-audiobook checkouts. So we're really, really proud of that. And I'll stop sharing. And so you can see the library again. And I don't know if there's a trustee that is in the room at all, library trustee, that wants to add anything. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Amber. No, the trustees are so happy with Amber as our librarian director. And
Will you introduce yourself?
hi, I'm Josh Nelson of Fern Drive, the old
Thank
Buckley
you.
house. I'm very excited to have a year with Amber in which she's really rejuvenated the library in a lot of ways. We're working towards maybe doing some building improvements soon, and those stairs were the beginning of those. I think we've got a list of items that need to be kind of taken care of, but just super excited about this year and the increase in participation.
Well, that's really wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Amber? Okay. Well, Amber, it's a joy to go to the Guilford Free Library, and I really enjoyed my time of participating there as a volunteer, and it has what we used to call great vibes, and I know that will continue. So glad to have you with us, and congratulations on the participation. It's impressive for all of us.
Thank you.
Everybody getting so smart with all those books.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, So next we have a report from the Guilford Volunteer Fire Department. Jared, you want to bring your chair up?
Sure. Hello.
Hey.
I was asked to come give a little update. The fire department's still plugging away. We have done 194 calls so far this year, both medical and fire, and we're very active on the mutual aid list too. We've just went to Newfane the other day for a building fire. Keeps everybody moving. We're still active in our truck committee is still doing research on our engine that we brought up at town meeting. Unfortunately, we're still hovering around the 1.1 to 1.2 as a cost for the truck, and we don't see anything going down anytime soon. So we're trying to make some decisions there. With that being said, we did take comments during the select board, and we took our capital fund and we brought it to Edward Jones and went over all that with them, and that is all now 100% invested. So that's also gaining us some money on that side. So that's another good plus there. We've got one of our members actually right behind me that just made a ZMT, Mr. Parker. We have another member that just made his first responder. So we have a couple new people in town you're gonna see at calls more often. We are getting ready for the Guilford Fair. That's coming up soon, sooner than we think. So we'll be plugging away at the chicken booth. And what else was I supposed to bring up? Oh, our audit. This is our, every 5 years we have our audit, and that was just completed. Everything is good there. And I guess we're plugging along with training now. Tomorrow night we're gonna have some training with UMass Life Flight, and I believe we're gonna be landing right out here at the school around 8 o'clock. So if you hear helicopters, don't be alarmed. It's just one. It's just us.
Oh, this is sort of emergency picking people up.
Yeah, they opened up a new base closer to us now, so they're actually closer than Dartmouth.
Uh-huh.
So if we need med assistance from the air, then they can be up here in less than, I think he said 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a good plus and another good option to have. So they offered to come up and do some ground training with us, and then they're also going to bring in aircraft around 8:30, I believe, so we can go over landing zone setups and actually see what they do and stuff. So yeah.
Nice.
Questions? Again, our trustees meet every Monday, or every first Monday of every month at 6:30. So we'd love to have you. If you don't know what to do on a Monday night, please stop by.
Cool.
And so does anybody have any questions for Jared?
No.
Well, we appreciate you
You're
coming
welcome.
out on the
Monday night.
on a Monday.
Another Monday night.
It's painful for me because I have to go by the Blueberry House on the way home.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Yes, and please convey our gratitude toward our fire department.
I will, thank you.
Okay, so moving right along, it's time for old business and the discussion with the Green Mountain Power Undergrounding Project on River Road. So you wanna scoot your chair up or?
I have guests with me tonight. Yeah. All right, thank you. Tim Jones, Green Mountain Power. Don Mills, also Green Mountain Power, and in the back, Jeremy Zoido. They are operational supervisors. Don's out of Brattleboro. Jeremy is out of our Wilmington shop. They split the town of Guilford, I think east-west by the river there. So Don has been spearheading our undergrounding program since we started it a couple of years ago. So when I was here 2 weeks ago, we shared big picture, our Zero Dodge initiative plan. and shared a project that we're currently hoping to get the town's partnership on that spans part of Halifax from Amadon Road, comes down to the covered bridge, and then on down River Road to the end of our service there to rebuild that underground. Before that, we had a chance to meet with Jim in the field, shared the maps with him. I was able to talk to him last week before he went on vacation just to get some feedback from him, but he also mentioned that he provided the board some feedback, questions, what have you. We had re-forwarded our template agreement that we have been using as our vehicle to get our right-of-way permitting in place with the towns to do these projects. And so we brought our experts tonight, and hopefully we're looking forward to some Q&A, and then obviously just looking at what else we need to do to get the town's approval. We are fully approved in Halifax as of this morning. So the project that bridges or straddles both towns will be something that we would do last. So we'll still be active on the Halifax side for a couple of more weeks. So we're looking to get approval for the Guilford portion of this so we can complete all of Jacksonville Stage Road, essentially from Branch Road at the town clerk all the way down through River Road. It's a 3-phase project, but it's all one project that we need to get done, and we're looking to get that done in August, at least the undergrounding portion, and then we'd be still following behind with electrical work and final road restoration following that. So just welcome discussion on anything else the town we can answer for the town, and just go from there.
Well, I mean, I took a look at, some of the other towns, Halifax, Wardsboro, Newfane, Grafton, and those communities all tell me they've seen clear reliability gains. In some cases, basically 0 outages during major storms, and residents have generally supported the work, especially where outages have been frequent. I'm glad you talked to Jimmy. He did send in a bunch of written questions. He's had a chance to review the GMP underground proposal, see some real potential benefits, as you know, because you talked to him. Mainly fewer and shorter outages, hopefully maybe even better cable if other internet providers could use the conduit. His main concerns, if we could just review those with you, are about construction details. First, there's got like 5 questions, but first, burial length. You guys are talking about 4 to 5 feet elsewhere, but in Halifax, he says it actually ended up closer to 2. So is that something that needs to be monitored?
Yeah, he did mention that to me when we spoke the other day. So I think when we talked, what we represented is ideal buried depth. The way the machine operates is 50. Minimum cover is typically 3 feet, and Don can speak to this a little bit more. So I was troubled to hear him tell me that he observed something less. I'd like to believe that is not the case, but certainly we're going to talk to our contractors about it. Under circumstances by which we can't meet minimum cover, it's a typical discussion that we have in the field. Either it's refusal, a ledge, and in the event that we can't get our minimum 3 feet, then situationally we're supposed to rise up and go overhead and down. So certainly something that we're going to be looking into. We are actually idle in Halifax until next week when the machine's going to start up again and head towards downtown. But I assured him that is the standard by which we operate. So I can't explain the oversight of what he saw that day, but certainly it's feedback that we brought back that somebody observed something counter to the standards that we represented. So
Could I just ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
And then I guess Sheila has one too. So did I understand you to say that if you can't get down to the depth that you wanted, that one part would just come out of the ground and sort of loop overhead and then go back down underground?
Correct.
Again?
Yeah, we'd span it. So I guess
The
we
technical
yep,
term,
so
right.
right. So as we represent these projects, it's an ideal state. Obviously, on paper, that's what we're predicting will be the case with probably 95% of the line being underground in only situations where it's a greater than a 24-inch culvert, open water, ledge. Some of these types of things would be a typical situation where we would span something that we couldn't bury.
And what was your question, Sheila?
So if legal depth is 3 feet, and you're just learning about that it was 2 feet from Jim Freeman, who is from Guilford,
Yeah.
how else would you know that there was an issue if somebody didn't tell you, your contractors, that it was 1 foot less than, 50% or 33%?
Again,
as it should be?
Honestly, I can't explain what he saw that day. We
Yeah.
have quite a bit of oversight on the job. We have the operators, we have a construction manager, we have our own people out there, plus the other crew that's doing all of the, electrical work. So it's something that I have to look into. So again, it's not something that should have occurred. So I don't have an explanation for it, not having been standing there, but there is oversight, so I can't explain
So
how something
going
like that
forward,
could be
how would
missed.
you correct for that?
Again, we have all these people in place, so.
I think for the most part, like if you go out and actually visibly see the machine, like it's a 10-foot cutting wheel, and most of the time, half of it is underground, and I can't believe that it actually rose up to that 2-foot point, but I'd like to know where it is, and then maybe I could send an excavator out there and find out whether it is actually 2 feet or whether we got 3. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
I mean, it
something-
sounds like an anomaly, but
Right, yeah.
it also sounds.
Yeah.
and even too, like in the areas where we have ledge, we'll spend a while cutting through that, and
That was
that wheel
another
will stay
question.
at that same level
Yeah.
the whole time it's cutting.
We'll do some test pits, so if we sense refusal, we'll try and bound the ledge. Refusal meaning we were trying to bury it and something under the ground refused our entry, right? So we will do some probing just to see if it's a little bit of a vein or if something that's
Okay.
because the machine really does, as Don said, it's got a lot of horsepower,
A lot of weight.
a lot of weight, and it does go through many things. So it's pretty evident, and once we get into something, if we're not going to be able to go through it, and rather than auger in on it for a whole day, we'll say, okay, we're just going to call it. We know how far we have to go to clear it, and we'll span it that way.
Okay. Chip, did you have more?
I was just gonna sum up a couple of other questions from Jimmy, but the second one was on the junction boxes.
Mhm.
And he wants to, I think, make sure that you guys work coordinating it with him and his highway crew, because again, he was saying there's some inconsistency in some of the other town projects.
And I think we've gotten better this year at being able to, hide them next to trees. So if you
Right,
look
right.
at where we were in Halifax, I think Tucker Road, Deer Park, Stowe Mountain, some of the roads that we just did, I think we were very effective in working with Mike Fournier there and getting that placement in a place where, I'm not going to hit it with the wing, I'm not going to plow or push snow into a certain area. So that's part of part of our agreement is doing that final pre-con walkthrough and just making sure that all the placements are amenable to operations of the town.
Yeah, he said he's really supportive of it. His last two questions, I think probably one of the largest was the liability if the cable gets damaged later, who pays?
I guess, I kind of deferred down if somebody dug into it, I guess,
Right.
that's something, if it wasn't dig safe and somebody, dug into it, I believe, it's
Yeah, it would be pretty much the same as dig safe.
Same
So
thing.
you'd have a dig safe there. If there was a mistake, we'd come out and make repairs. Like if it was mismarked or whatever, and then there'd probably be a little investigation into why it was mismarked or how it was mismarked.
but we would immediately respond
Right.
to any situation.
Also, there was a promise of repairing the roads, and he wanted to know like when would that be done, like how soon, and also culvert repairs, because we would not want it to go out as far as when it started to get cold and there was frost in the ground, because that, we don't want to put any culverts in after that because they might fail. So, do you guys have the people
Timeline?
power to get that done?
Yes. So we move as one, so it's a turnkey operation. So we have Adams Excavating out of Westminster. They follow the machine, and their daily task is to backfill, compact the lifts of the trench, and then replace probably a couple of culverts a day. So we don't string way out before we're following and repairing. So the trench is closed as it goes, and so our communication plan will be a week ahead and say, we're gonna do this week, this is the work involved, these are the stations where we're gonna be working, this is how many culverts we see, and keeping pace with the machine and getting things replaced as we go is the key. So final road restoration, as we kind of depicted here, once everything is done and energized and cut over, then there'll be a finish to the road. But the culverts will be installed with the headers and the footers per the town's request, and then an agreed upon finished road surface. So ideally we'll be out of the trench work by the end of August.
No, that's what I was gonna ask.
And I think just as a rule of thumb, we are adopting October 15th, which is sort of the start of winter construction. And Jim and I did talk about that. So he was very emphatic. Before any frost, is possible, everything's buttoned up. So that would be the goal. Certainly by September, getting that road restored, and then basically working through September, probably into October, finishing all the electrical work and termination, customer services. So the trencher moves like a paving crew, so we'll set it down, and whatever the distance, hopefully we can cover that ground in a couple of weeks' time or less, and then the trenching operation moves off, and we'll finish the electrical work, and then of course Adams will come through and then finish to the roads to the satisfaction of the town, where we'll sign off, and the project's not closed until the town says, we're restored.
What's the normal life expectancy of once cables are laid underground?
Gosh, I think we've, 50 years probably.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Lifetime, yeah.
There's been areas like in the late 60s, early 70s where they direct buried the cable. So this is the same exact cable basically, and it was not in any conduit at the time. And that has lasted, 50 plus years without any damage or without failing. With this product, it's actually in Schedule 40 PVC. So basically like pipe, but it's a flex duct. And that lays in there, and that protects the actual cable. And the cable itself is way better than the stuff they direct buried in the 60s as well, because it's actually got an outer jacket to it as well. So besides the air gap within that PVC, it's pretty well protected. Even as the ground heaves and the PVC will flex with it, and we're actually finding that there's less water getting into the PVC itself. So the problem with glued together pipe is that in those joints and stuff, the water gets in there and eventually freezes and affects the cable, where this is all one product. It's sealed at both ends. It's just one stretch.
So we have the capability of going, if we don't have any services to intercept, we could go, say, 1,300 feet before we would need to put a termination box. But as we get into more populated areas, the runs might be 500 feet or 600 feet or 700 feet. So really what we would do, upon the town granting us permission, is we'd give you a schedule, basically calling our shot and saying, okay, this much time we expect to have the trenching operation going to get the conductor in the ground, and then the follow-on activities, all of the electrical work, and then the finished grading of the road work. So that's something that we would give the town on a weekly basis, and certainly take your lead on sort of what that single sign-on message would be. Do we just give you the town a schedule? Do you blast it out onto your town website? Do we put a chat group together, text, phone, whatever? No hard road closures without a couple of days notice. So we have some sort of defaults that we put in place in terms of scheduling and awareness for the town, and certainly getting the town's feedback on. We have something coming up on this week, absolutely, or certainly we hear from a lot of our customers, I need to get out on this day, at this frequency. And so that canvas will happen as we get on the road out there, and just making sure road signages, however the town would prefer to see it. We've used electronic signboards, we've used regular sign packages, either road closed to local traffic. So we know there's a lot of cut throughs here, as well as how EMS responds. So just baking all those sensitivities into, how do we operate, and what we're doing.
How'd you determine which roads to use to do?
It's where the lines are typically running.
Because when you say east-west, is it split coming out of Wilmington? Like part of it goes down the Green River, but...
Yeah, the Green River divides both Wilmington and Brattleboro.
That's what I was
So everything's fed on the eastern side of the Green River from Brattleboro.
Okay.
And then everything on the west side is fed from out of Wilmington.
Oh, out of Wilmington. Oh, cool. Didn't know that.
Does anybody have any other questions? Oh,
I just
sure,
wanted to
sorry.
ask Jared if there's any questions we should be asking.
Yeah, one of the linemen getting a raise.
Not my department, sorry.
No, we'll work with them, just
Yeah.
like the fire department, emergency response and everything, like we've done in other towns. Yeah.
So what's not outlined in this request of the select board is the way in which you work with the highway crew in the town in all of these advance and, during the project arrangements.
Sure, and I think, we can amend that, or you have the Word version of this, so I guess we welcome, and we've done this with other towns, if you want to redline the agreement, if there's something that's missing, or if
Yeah, I
there's
thought the
something that you
agreement was
wanted
fine.
to
It's just
append.
that all the
So
stuff
it's
you just added.
pre-construction, right? So basically a pre-construction before we do anything. Once we get the town's approval, we'll go have our design crew go out and stake everything out where we propose to put it. And then that's just a touchstone with the town to say, okay, here are all the stations, here are all the culverts, here's where we propose to put everything, and just get his okay before we even get in the ground.
Might be something you'd want to add from the minutes, from the video tonight, just some notes about the actual implementation of this.
Well,
And I think that we have a pretty good relationship with the road foreman.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure you do.
They all have my phone number, so if there's any
Yeah.
issue at all at any time, he can call and just let me know, hey, this needs to be fixed, or can we address this? So,
well, yeah, Ally.
I was just gonna ask, what do you anticipate will be like a power outage while you're switching over for customers?
It's a great question.
that's all dependent on the stretch of the wire, but for the most part, it's just swapping from one house, like it'd be one house at a time, and probably like a 4-hour outage at probably the most.
I see.
So it'd be like individual outages, the line crew would come up and notify the homeowner and say, hey, look, we need to have your power off tomorrow between these
Yeah, the little pit
times.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we have door knockers, so if somebody's not home, we'll leave a door knocker, but like I said, we have a construction management company that's out here doing that legwork for us as well. Just so, not surprising people, or giving people at least a day ahead. From when we need to.
I can't remember whether we asked last time whether you need to get easements from property owners, and what happens if people are balky at doing that.
We do, and we have. So the project is entitled, so the last permission we need is the town's at this point. So that's we like to come with a finished product, so you're sort of the last link in that chain. But we have all the other right-of-ways
Oh,
secured
you
along the way.
already do
Yes.
oh, I see, okay. Well,
I have
yeah,
another question. I don't know the answer to this. Can you guys tell me, are dead trees the responsibility, like maintenance of the town? Or do you guys deal with dead trees as well? Because I'm seeing a lot of coniferous trees that are gonna fall in lines right on Sweet Pond Road. And I've been thinking about that. So is that something that I need to talk to the crew about? Or is that,
Yeah, so in
Your turn.
most cases, the line crew turns them in, like they'll take a look at them and say, hey, that could possibly hit the line. And then they usually leave me a little sticky note. I make my job for it. And then Asplin will come out and take care of those. But
okay,
they're all over the place.
Yeah.
So
They are.
like if you have concerns with certain ones,
mm-hmm,
just call the call center.
Okay.
And that lineman will come out, take a look at it,
okay,
and then we can put a work order in to remove those.
okay, great, thank you.
But if you know the pole number,
Yeah, it's right at the bottom of my driveway.
okay.
Yeah, I'll
no, well,
find
it's- I'm sorry, Sarah.
It's okay.
Especially with the vulnerability of the trees that are along the town's right of way. It sounds like a really important and promising project. It's just scary looking at the canopy and the leaves and all, and see what's changing over the years, so.
Well, part of it is keeping the character of the road. So our ability to go underground really preserves, your tree line roads. I live on one just like, River Road, upstate a little bit. And so prospect of the trees falling on the line, I guess we're going underground, so a lot of that will be
Right.
taken out of play. So there will still be some overhead as we intercept customers, sort of as they sit, but that then becomes sort of one-off. Somebody might lose power to their house, but the main line stays on. So that's kind of the
Right.
goal of getting that main line hardened first and then going out from there.
Okay, everybody?
Very good.
Okay, well, we
Hey,
really
thanks.
appreciate
Thank you.
so many of you coming and
Yeah.
filling us in, and we'll try to keep up our end of getting back to you, in a really timely way.
Do we have to make a motion here
Yeah,
to accept this?
we do.
We have to make a
Request.
motion to accept.
Or do we want Erica to do a little bit of an addendum?
Yes, I think we should add all of Jimmy's requests, especially,
Yeah.
as in the red line, it's not in here.
Yeah, and pending that, then we can have a vote on it.
I mean, so do you want to start soon, right?
It'll probably be ready probably the middle of August.
Yeah,
Because our next meeting is
Just the
August
11th.
11th.
So if you needed to wait one more cycle and just sign it, and I can work with Erica on just getting the draft the way the town needs it, and your permission by then would certainly meet us where we're at.
okay.
Does that work for everybody?
Does everybody understand where we are with that, and is that acceptable to all of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know what the next actions are.
Yes.
Okay,
So I'll do a red line with the comments that we talked about tonight, and hopefully by the time we're ready to sign off on it, Jimmy will also be back, so he can have final sign off on it too.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
What's that poll number?
Yeah.
The first one on Sweet Pond Road.
Okay. We'll take a look.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thanks for coming. Okay, so,
Computer screen is whatever.
are we ready to move on? Okay. Okay, so, did you need to,
No, I was telling her how to prevent her screen from showing up on the camera.
oh, okay.
Pro tip.
Okay, so next we have the Stage Road repair ditching bids. And Erica, if you wanted to say a little something, then we could take an action.
Oh, I do. So today was the deadline for bids for this work that has been ongoing for our MRGP, Municipal Road General Permit. And per Act 64, we need to have all our hydrologically connected roads in good shape where the water can go where it needs to go and not make a mess. So we started last year on Stage Road, and we did the top part, and the work will continue this year below where we did, and we got 2 bids today. They were very close. We got, what?
They are, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and I just wanna thank both folks who bid, because they're both really good bids. LaRock came in at $48,400 for this work, and MT3 came in at $47,310. So MT3 is a little bit less, and they also started the job on Stage Road last year. So it is my recommendation, and I did contact Jimmy today on vacation, and he said, yes, he agrees that MT3 should continue the work.
And the description is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not missing anything in one of them. Removing the ash trees or.
Yeah, there was some ash trees that we actually removed ahead of time. So some of the original ash trees have already been taken away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure there will be more.
let me make sure I have this right. So the action will be to move to accept MT3's bid
Yes.
on the Stage Road repair ditching project. right? Okay, I so move. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I just think, I'm really impressed that we got 2 local bids this time, it's great.
Yes, and so I'm sure Erica will thank LaRock for participating as well. So, okay, so would somebody like to second the motion? or-
He did already.
Oh, I see. Okay, is there any further conversation about it? Okay, all in favor of accepting the MT3 bid indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstained? Okay, very good. Okay, now we're on to the Slate Rock Culvert Fund. And so this is straightforward but a little complex, so I'll rely on Erica to help us walk through the 2 motions.
So there, this is basically a housekeeping item. Ellie, our treasurer, has had the idea to create a fund to track all the payments from the Slate, expenses from the Slate Rock Culvert project, because this is a big project that's gonna span several years, and we have 2 grants for it. And like Tara said, the first invoice came in this week for project management that Wyndham Regional is doing. I can tell you that project management expense is going to come out of the larger TAP grant, which is the $360,000 big grant that we got, and we, in addition to that, got a $200,000 structures grant, which is the one we're starting work on first with engineering.
What does TAP mean?
Transportation Alternative Program.
Okay. Just curious, it's a state grant?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a state grant with federal funds, which they
Which we're still
assure
gonna
me
get?
are safe
Okay,
and already obligated to the state.
so the sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yes, so Ellie would just like the select board to create a fund, and she has the number will be 020 for this fund, and that will just keep track, like we use all our funds for the grant money that we get in and the expenses as they go out. So if everything goes right, it will start at 0 and end at 0.
So moved.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you for moving it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there further conversation?
I have another question.
Okay, good.
So 2 questions. Okay, so it says on the project sheet, it says transfer in from capital fund, which I'm reading could be up to $90,000.
Yes, the town matches could be up to $90,000.
Depending on the amount of the grant. But we don't know how
if
much you have to
we-
transfer in yet.
Right.
And you don't have
so-
to transfer in until you need to draw on the funds.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the second part of this, which is
Invoices.
to vote. The select board discussed using the capital fund and the highway surplus fund when we first were discussing this grant, but I don't believe there was a motion, so.
And do we have a recommendation whether it should be the capital fund or the highway fund?
I think because this is such a long project that we can just see what expenses are coming in and see what those funds are looking like and pick as we go.
As needed.
As needed, yeah.
So how long is this project going? It doesn't have any indication here of the date.
Right, I thought it would go through next year, but some of the proposals we got have 2027 in them too.
So could we have a date
Is this
on
like
the project, like start date and projected end date on the project
On the
worksheet?
project worksheet, yes.
Yeah, so that we would
Good
know.
idea.
this is for the bridge and the culvert and stuff, right? Correct? The Slate Rock?
Slate Rock Culvert, yeah, but
Yeah.
there will need to be a temporary bridge as part of it, yeah.
Does that fall under TAP usually? Because when I looked at that earlier, I was wondering why they would call it TAP. Because that primarily funds like pedestrian, bicycle, mobility issue areas, and it just, I mean, I don't know if V-Trans is calling it a TAP, or if it, we're the TAP grant. It doesn't fit into the parameters I found online, but I'm not the one conducting the grant. But it's, from what I found, it wasn't actually applicable.
Okay, well, I can research that shit.
Yeah, so it's like
Transportation.
it's a transportation alternative program grant,
Well,
federal money
That's what they're giving
administrated
us.
to the
They're
state.
giving it to us from there, so it must match, it must be okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, it's just, it's for projects that usually improve transportation alternatives like sidewalks, bike paths, pedestrian safety, historic preservation related to transportation. And the only thing I could find that was maybe a connection was environmental mitigation.
Stormwater mitigation.
Yeah,
So maybe that was it?
that's totally it, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Flooding and,
yeah. I just wanted to double check, I know,
no, we need to be understanding as
Yeah.
much of this as we possibly can.
So this fund would go away, Ellie, once the project is completed and the fiscal year is completed and it's reported on? Okay,
So it's not, in other words, just to reiterate in a different way, we're not creating a permanent fund. This, is that true?
That is true.
Okay,
Yeah, it would go along like, if we remember back to the town office.
yeah, I
Town office, addition,
Renovations.
renovation,
Right.
there we go. That project was set aside in a specific asset
right.
fund. So it would easily track all the ins and outs of the money that was used for that project. So again, where I'm thinking that it would be a good idea, because there's always lots of questions about where money comes from and what it's being spent on, that it would be good to set up this fund. So we can track very easily all the revenues and expenses in one place.
Mhm. Okay,
is that an 80-20, the usual 80-20 grant split, or not for this thing?
One of them is that, and the other one is 90-10.
90-10.
The big one is 90-10.
okay, so it's been moved and seconded and discussed. So all in favor of creating a fund to track the Slate Rock Culvert project indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, then we have passed that motion to create the fund. And Erica, the other motion that we needed was sort of a backtracking motion.
Right, to a motion, which is something that the select board discussed previously and I think agreed on, but there was no motion, to use the capital fund and the highway surplus fund as needed to pay for expenses from here, from this project.
So
Oh,
one thing that
Ellie.
we're missing is that it's a reimbursable grant.
Yes,
So we have to spend it and then get reimbursed back.
yes.
So that's where
Mhm.
this, I think, is coming from,
Yes.
as well
Absolutely.
as matching funds.
Right, and that's, that's why it's important to keep track of these, where we're spending the funds from, because it's such a long project, I don't think, I would feel confident saying, yes, let's use one fund, which is also used for other things along the way, so.
Okay. So to word the motion properly, it would be, do we have to indicate that we've already approved this, but we didn't vote on it yet?
No, just, I think it should be the source of funds for
Okay.
payments for this.
I move that we approve the source of funds for the Slate Rock Culvert project.
To be either the
To-
capital fund or
Or
The highway reserve
surplus-
fund.
Oh, reserve fund.
Yes.
as it has to be deemed best by current fund balances or something like that. Depending on current fund, on those fund balances and alternative uses and other uses.
Well, how can we simplify that motion?
So, I mean, but are we creating a separate account? Would it be better to like create a Slate Rock project account and then just funnel all the funding through that,
That's
which
what
makes
she's
it
doing, but then the
Okay.
second motion is, where's our part coming, where's the town's part coming from? It's
Right,
gonna
so
come
which
from
funds
either the
are
capital fund-
funneling into this one?
Yes,
Yes.
because
Okay.
we discussed it before, but we didn't move it and officially approve it. And so that's what we'll be doing now.
Okay,
So I think, Erica, we need to say the source of funds will be either the capital fund or the highway reserve fund, depending on the status and the projected use of those funds at the time the match is required. That's what
I
it
That makes
believe
sense.
it's the highway surplus.
Highway
surplus fund,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not.
so
reserved.
the capital fund and the highway surplus fund.
Yes.
Okay,
so that's
everybody.
004 and 010.
Yes.
Okay, and the cleanest way to front the costs and track it is to create a separate.
Which
Fund.
just does.
Yes.
Okay.
020.
And it
So-
would probably be called, as you said, Chip, the
Slate
Slate
Rock
Rock
Project
Road
Fund.
Project or something like that.
And so, did we have a second for that yet?
I'll second it.
Okay, great. And we have had the discussion. Are we ready to vote? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Abstaining. Okay, we have opposed that.
Approved.
Approved.
Thank you.
Erica,
I'm going to admit this person without a name again and try to get them to name themselves. Sorry.
Lyle has a question.
Does Lyle have a question? Oh, okay, I can. I just admitted someone with the name of Zoom. Please put your first and last name, or I will put you back in the waiting room. I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and I'm gonna unmute Lyle.
Okay, Lyle, did you have a question?
Yes, there's no volume here. I cannot hear a word.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Lyle. That's, can we,
Hang on, so let me just double check that.
Erica, while they're checking on this project worksheet, the last updated is the date the template was updated probably? Or there's no date for the project here, that's all I'm saying, that I think we should have like a start date and a
Or it
projected
says the
end
volume
date.
is just fine.
are we, so Lyle, can you hear us now?
Yes, I hear you a little better now. Thank you.
Oh, I'm really sorry that, that I didn't see your hand. It's.
That's okay. I lowered my hand. Thank you.
Well, though, you can watch the video of the meeting if there are things that you really want to be on top of. Can everybody else on Zoom hear us?
Yeah, I just checked with Lori who's listening. She's heard the whole thing, no worries.
Okay, terrific.
Okay.
Okay, so the next item of business is tax sales and the town's participation, the town's participation. And this is a continuation of a discussion that we began publicly at the last meeting. So, we need to,
Should I take it?
yeah, and Ellie, did you want to comment on it as well?
I'm sitting here for
We're working.
questions.
Okay, so this is a collaboration, so go ahead, Sheila.
So we, at the last select board meeting, we agreed that I would meet with Bob Fisher and Ellie and Marlene and go over all the questions that we had. And we had a great meeting, and I am going to report by reading in sections what we talked about, and then maybe we'll see if there are questions at the moment, because there will be more questions in the sections or at the end. So I'm thinking that at the end, we need to have 2 motions, but probably if we don't get all the questions answered tonight, we might wait until the 11th to do some more clarification, but we have to act on the 11th before August 25th, which is the tax sale date. So,
Before you start,
yes, ma'am.
is the, what you're going to read, is that, do we have that document?
It's called the Tax Sale Memo to the Select Board, August 2025,
Got it.
revised EM 72825.
I thought I saw
Right.
it. Thank you.
So this is for people listening. So what is the so this memo is divided into sections. One is the importance of tax revenues and tax sales. The second is what is the delinquent tax process prior to, during, and after a tax sale? And then the third is when and for what purpose would the select board bid on a tax sale property, and what happens at the end of the 1-year redemption period? And then big question that people have been asking, what is the cost of the town for bidding on a tax sale property? And then what do we do going forward? Because we don't have a really good protocol for this in place at this time. Although we do now, we didn't have.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. Okay, somebody just highlighted everything.
I did.
Okay,
Versus
please
the
let me. The grand list details, okay, so what's the importance of tax revenues and tax sales? So I'm just gonna go through the basics. The grand list details the assessed value of each property in Guilford. Annually, residents approve the municipal and highway budgets for the coming fiscal year. The approved budget is funded primarily by taxes collected. So if we have $100,000 of budget, we need $100,000 of taxes to come in. The tax rate is figured by dividing the budgeted amount of the total value of the grand list to arrive at a rate per 100. It's 100, not 1,000, right? $100 of assessed value. Other elements are factored into the tax rate as well. For example, current use property rates, veterans rates, etc. But grossly and generally, this is how the tax rate is calculated. The failure of property owners to pay their taxes results in insufficient income to cover budgeted approved expenses. The shortfall has to be funded by other means, including drawing down our reserve fund. The approved highway plus municipal budget for fiscal year 2026 is roughly $2.5 million. Some of this will be funded by grants, but not a huge portion. The rest of it is funded by taxes collected. At the end of fiscal year 2024, our delinquent taxes totaled close to $300,000. That was about 12% of this year's annual budget. At the end of fiscal year 25, the total delinquent balance owed, principal, penalty, and interest was $432,524, which is an increase of about 30% over the year before. The current treasurer, Ellie, has succeeded in coming to mutually agreeable arrangements with 13 property owners over the past 3 months regarding their tax debt. Their payments will bring about $6,700 a month to the town in past due delinquent taxes, interest, and fees. Penalty. Over time, these payments will reduce by the delinquent tax by about 66%, thereby relieving Guilford and its residents of this extra burden. As of today, 6 properties for which either no agreement could be reached or for which there has been no communication from the property owner, they're included in the August 25th, 2025 tax sale. The minimum bid for each of these properties equals taxes owed, plus penalty owed, plus interest owed, plus cost of the tax sale. The benefit to the town of a successful tax sale is that delinquent tax, penalty, and interest owed is recovered by the town and the legal costs are covered. There is no ancillary cost to the town. Okay, that section is about importance of tax revenues and sales. Are there any questions right now?
Very lucid.
Thank you, ma'am.
Although, if you're putting this out in public, probably you want to use a different word from ancillary, which is a little obscure.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, Ellie I'm assuming that you've reached out to all of the 6 properties, and the one that says there has been no communication from the property owner,
We're gonna get to that
they
point.
didn't respond.
A little
We'll get to that
later,
point, yeah.
you'll understand
sure,
the whole
great.
process.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Are we including that Vermont law basically requires the town cannot make a profit off it? That
It's
you-
in have, it's all
It's
in
in
here.
That's it, okay,
It's
I'm
all
just
in here.
checking.
Sheila's so excited about it. She's like,
We worked so hard on this.
They get notices once a month.
Okay, what is the delinquent tax process prior to, during, and after a tax sale? New state legislation states that a property owner must be at least 1 year delinquent before they can be considered for tax sale. Before a tax sale occurs, after the tax balance becomes delinquent, the taxpayer is sent monthly bills stating the balance due with a written request to contact the delinquent tax collector to set up a payment agreement. The delinquent tax policy and an abatement notice are sent as well a couple times during the year. The town report and the town website have information regarding payment options, which the treasurer also explains regularly. If and when taxpayers contact the treasurer, attempts are made to reach a payment agreement that is realistic for their budget while balancing that with the tax obligation. Consistent monthly payments and open communication between the taxpayer and the delinquent tax collector are key to each agreement. Ellie hears about hardships, difficult life events, folks struggling to pay their bills, making difficult choices. She listens, she's compassionate, and she provides resources. She makes resource suggestions like talk to your bank, have you heard about the local food pantry and free meals offered daily? In Brattleboro, have you contacted Guilford Cares? Have you thought about selling a portion of your property? Have you talked to your family? So this is Ellie, tax therapist, during negotiations.
Exactly.
Those who come forward to set up agreements are generally grateful to figure out a way to start dealing with the debt. Some people ignore all communications until it's too late and they are heading to tax sale. We had one such incident. It is difficult to think about losing your home, making a change, losing your dreams of what your home or property could be. The treasurer is keenly aware of that. Delinquent taxes are a burden not just for the individual, but for all taxpayers. At some point, individuals have to take responsibility for their actions and their non-actions. Delinquent taxpayers, their mortgage holders, and lien holders are provided notice of the tax sale by certified mail, return receipt, and also by regular mail and even email if the town has email contact information. So the attempts to reach these people are not only monthly and periodically during the year, but if it gets to the tax sale point, they get a certified letter. People have actually stopped and talked to people to try to find them.
can I
Yep.
just also throw out that this year, like 3 months ago, I started with a different color piece of paper to get people's attention. It was like yellow paper and said, look, tax sale's coming up,
Yeah,
let's get with it.
so
And then the next one was a pink one, which said, if I don't hear from you by 7:15, then you are going to tax sale. So I feel like throughout this process, there's plenty of options for people to contact me.
the idea is to provide notice to the taxpayer of the tax sale. Levies and warrants for the delinquent tax are recorded in the land records along with the notice of tax sale. Any questions about this process? I'd like to
No.
congratulate Ellie and commend her on her patience. When and for what purpose would the select board bid on a tax sale property? And what happens at the end of the 1 year redemption period? I think later on we talk about the redemption period, so I'm not gonna mention that now. If no successful bid is made for a tax sale property, then the select board agent may determine that it is in the best interests of Guilford to enter a bid, the bid. At the end of the year after a tax sale, if a property owner has not paid the taxes and the penalties, then the select board receives the right of possession through what's called a tax collector's deed per statute in Vermont. The select board can then try to sell the property through a closed bid auction or remove it from the grand list. we have two choices at that point. We either can get rid of it or we can take it off the grand list. If the property does not sell, Guilford becomes the listed owner and the property is removed from the tax rolls. Why do we want to remove a property from the tax rolls? Because if we have a property assessed at $50,000 and we build our budget and our tax rate with that $50,000 included in the grand list, we're gonna skew our calculations incorrectly because we're not gonna get taxes on that, right? So there may be no reason to have a property on a tax list. We've got another question related to that in a minute, but I'll get there. The town is prohibited from using the tax sale process for commercial gain, so it's important to attempt to reconvey these properties. It may be that the town, in order to get the property back on the grand list, will sell the property for less than what the town has bid, but that would depend on the particular property, the amount of delinquent taxes, and the value of the property as assessed by the listers. If a property is sold, then the assessed value will reflect the market rate and will be included in the grand list more appropriately than it was before sale. If a property is written off, then the former assessed value will be subtracted from the grand list, thereby skewing the tax rate calculation less. This was a hard one to explain, so I just want to know if people get it.
I have a fuzzy understanding of it.
What?
A fuzzy
No,
understanding of it.
Do you understand why the select board why the select board is recommended to bid on a property
Yes,
that nobody else bids on?
yes.
And what we can then do with the property, or we can then try to do with the property?
Yeah, the
Okay,
way I looked at it is, yeah. Yeah, I've got an example here, but yeah, absolutely.
okay,
So like for it, the way I had here was like taxes owed $9,000. Penalties at 8%, $720, yada, yada, yada. Taxes, a total owed $13,000. So at the tax sale, the town bids $13,000, no cash. If it's redeemed in 6 months, the owner pays $13,000 plus $780 in interest. If it's not redeemed, the town owns the property outright, can resell or keep it. And if the resale, for example, is $20,000, the town keeps 13, the surplus of 7 goes to the former owner or heirs.
yes.
Yes.
I don't know about selling it for less though.
in there?
The assessed value then becomes reflective of the market value.
It's also good to understand that you don't have to bid on a property. And it could go through another cycle of tax sale if you think it might work.
Yep.
So
maybe this is too long a question, but why wouldn't somebody bid on a property at a tax sale when
it may not be a desirable property.
There's some properties that are just, I don't know, there's a 1.5 acres that's kind of underwater,
Oh, okay, got it.
maybe, or.
No,
Fallen in or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Good enough.
I will say, Chip, it's not 6 months, it's a year.
It is a year, okay.
And it can be longer than a year if there's an IRS lien on the property. Am I correct?
Exactly. So there's a 1-year redemption period, but if the IRS is involved with a lien, then it could be up to 18 months.
Oh, okay.
Now, any bidder, any successful bidder has to wait this 1 year period.
Of course, got that.
Not just the town. So, and the property owner has that last year to make good. And if they don't, then the deed is transferred to the successful bidder.
And by making good, that's, as Chip had stated, it's paying in full.
Yeah.
What's due, which is
There's no
the
longer.
principal, the penalty, the
And the
interest, the legal fees, and the legal costs.
Yeah.
So that all has to be paid in full in order for it to be redeemed.
Yep.
And during that year, the interest is still being charged on the property tax.
Yep.
The interest is being charged. So, in other words, the person who buys the place just folds their hands and waits for this process to take its course.
Yes.
I have a question. Does
Yes.
money change hands at the end of the auction, or do you wait the redemption year, and then have the money change hands? Does the town get the funds?
The town gets the funds from
The
the
bidder.
successful bidder.
Mhm.
The town gets then paid for all of the interest, principal, and penalty.
It costs.
And then the lawyers get paid for their costs. And then if there's additional money over and above what's due, then it can go into an escrow account. And that escrow account is held until the redemption period is over. And if the property is not redeemed, then the additional money that's in the escrow account goes back to the original owner.
Wait,
They
if the
can-
property is redeemed?
Is
Oh,
not
to the original bidder.
No,
Wait a minute.
it is confusing. It's actually written down in here correctly.
Okay.
And I would encourage people to also read the information that Chip and I got and read before. But, and I gave Erica the page out of the handbook
Okay.
or the guide.
Delinquent property.
Oh, yeah, that's in the
No,
folder,
yes,
yes.
that's not what I'm talking about. The page
Yeah.
that was behind that, which was actually a page out of the thing. Hold on just a second.
But that's more a question related to the, to bidders.
No, it's for both. Just give me a second. Treatment of, okay, so when the collector of delinquent tax receives payment from the successful bidder at the tax sale, they should first make the payments out to the town for the taxes owed. And then they would make a check out to the collector for fees. In my case, that's not gonna happen because my money, as you remember, any penalties and things like that go to the town. Okay, any excess proceeds from the purchase price can either be given directly to the delinquent taxpayer or placed in an escrow account for 1 year, for the 1 year redemption period. It is really suggested, though, to put it in an escrow account.
Okay.
Though the economic benefit of the excess proceeds must go to the delinquent taxpayer, they have the right to use those funds either until either the property is redeemed or the tax deed has been conveyed. So they can actually, and this is the taxpayer who owns the property still, they can use the excess money to help redeem the property.
Oh, that's a lot easier.
Okay.
Makes sense to me.
If the money is placed in an escrow account, notice should be given to the taxpayer as such. The account may, but not must, be one that earns interest at the current market rate. So the money in escrow account is held so that if the taxpayer wishes to redeem their property, this money can be applied to the amount of money required for the redemption. On the other hand, if the delinquent taxpayer does not intend to redeem the property, the collector of delinquent taxes can release the money to the taxpayer. But that can't happen until after the redemption period is over.
So the bidder takes
The
a
bidder.
risk by overbidding.
Yes.
Okay.
But if the delinquent taxpayer redeems, then money has to go to the bidder. Everything that bidder paid, plus interest that's accrued 1% a month.
Okay.
So do you mean that the redeemer has to pay the bidder
The bidder,
interest because the bidder has tied up their money
yes.
for a year? Okay, I hope I can retain that.
Again, this is under treatment of tax, of sale proceeds.
Yeah,
I gave a page to Erica.
yes, I
and
see.
Everybody can get a copy of that page.
Great.
But I would also encourage folks to read through this section,
It's pretty
because
good.
I think I've read it like 10 times already.
Yeah.
Because I have to just keep going back, and this particularly makes me just crazy.
Yeah, they don't make it easy reading.
All right,
Okay,
so that's the period and the redemption period. So
right.
what is the cost to the town for bidding on a tax sale property, and how are the purchase and resale or write-off charges accounted for? Essentially, the town's bid on a tax sale property is an accounting transaction, not an actual exchange of funds. The town bids the minimum, it is paying itself for delinquent taxes, simply an accounting transaction, but it obtains the right, if the taxpayer does not redeem within 1 year, to receive the tax collector's deed at the end of that year. Once the town owns the property, it can then attempt to resell the property to get it back on the tax rolls. Whether through tax sale or auction thereafter of a property, the goal of the town cannot, by law, be to make a profit. The town can only recover the taxes owed plus the penalty, interest, and the costs associated with the tax sale auction. If the town does not reconvey the property and writes off the taxes owed, does the town still own the property, and therefore, does the town bear a liability burden? And Ellie's opinion is yes. So let's say we take 2 acres off and a tree falls on a hiker. We don't really, I mean, it could be that there's some passive related impact on owning this property. Any questions about that? Going forward.
Hold on,
Okay.
Chip, you had a question on the list of your questions about whether you can reduce the price. And
Yeah, no,
this-
I know, I answered it.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Are we good so far, Ellie? Okay, so Guilford hasn't had a tax sale since 2018, so that's 7 years. Delinquent taxpayers have the same rights and responsibilities as all other property owners, but may feel that they can get away with not paying taxes as there have been no consequences of late for not doing so, other than additional interest. Brattleboro instituted annual tax sales and in 2024 had 0 delinquent taxes. We just learned that. So if we are comfortable with all of this, we can move that the Guilford delinquent tax collector be asked, we already did that, asked to conduct annual tax sales. Didn't we do that before?
Yes.
No, we didn't.
No, not annual.
You were going to.
No.
Annual tax sales, right. And we can also move that the select board authorize a member of the select board to act as its agent during a tax sale to bid on properties that otherwise would remain as is on the grand list, and that the select board carefully analyze the results of each auction 12 and 18 months after the tax sale to determine the best protocol for going forward.
So is it the results of each action or each auction? Because what's on the page says, on my page
So
says the
the
results
action,
of,
it's, I think it's gonna be action because there's different properties.
yes, such action, okay. Not auction, okay.
So I don't know if you all feel comfortable. Sorry, Ellie. Ellie.
I have a question that I could not answer before this meeting, and I don't know if you can require me to do tax sales every year. As a tax, as the
Brattleboro does
delinquent
it.
tax. Well, they may have, their delinquent tax collector might have set that up. I don't know the process.
Okay, how about if so allowed by Vermont statute?
And I'm not saying I'm not gonna do it, because I see a lot of benefit
Yeah.
to it, because I have to say that, in the past 3 months, I feel like, people started to see that this was a serious situation.
Yeah.
Because I had to say, look, this is,
Yeah.
it's either this or this, it's the way
Yeah.
it's gonna go. And I think so, it would reduce the annual amount of money that's owed from delinquent taxes. And it'll probably reduce the number of people who are, or taxpayers who are delinquent.
And reduce the burden on the town for not doing it.
Yes.
So I would say that if we were gonna make that motion, that we would amend it, we would say if permitted by Vermont statute.
Well, I'm also concerned about, about Guilford's delinquent tax collector, who is also our treasurer and our sort of representative to the Algiers Fire District. You know, I'm concerned, you know, I don't know if we have to make a decision about this right now, but I'm concerned about the burden to you with the current job description that you have to make a commitment. If it acts as prevention and there aren't going to be tax sales each year, then great.
Again, I'm not saying I'm not in favor of it. I'm just questioning whether it's something that the delinquent tax collector has to establish, or if that's something the select board has to establish.
Well, I found this, I mean, it's, Vermont statute 5259 gives, I'll say towns, but I'll say Guilford, the power to bid as a municipality when no outside bids meet the owed amounts. It doesn't restrict on how often we can hold a sale. The frequency is up to us, as long as the process is followed in conjunction with 5259, 1-year delinquency, proper notices, right to redemption. Guilford can adopt an annual tax sale policy if that's how we want to bring the delinquency down and stabilize the budget.
And I think Brattleboro learned that they did these tax sales and they got to zero in that 1 year, but then they also had to wait more than 1 year to have another one because
Right.
because because there was no property that was
We had to
delinquent
roll it over.
up more than a 12 months.
Right.
So it might not be every year, depending on Ellie's success, but
So Chip, the way that was worded, what you just said, it makes
Yeah.
me think about, is it a select board decision or is it something that's actually voted on?
It sounds
At
like
town
I'll have to do
meeting.
looking at it. I think it's a select board decision, or I think as long as the procedures and protocols are correctly followed, which Sheila and you are outlining here, I think we're fine with it, so.
Well, but the reason I say voted on by the town meeting is because the penalty is also something that's voted on town meeting.
Yeah,
Whether things were postmarked was voted on by town meeting last.
I can check it out.
Yeah,
I think
I'm just
that's a
wondering
different-
what the,
I think that's what is that's the treatment for delinquent taxes on a regular basis, but the tax sale is different. You know, when you conduct a tax sale is different from the interest and the penalty that you set.
Yeah, I think I'm just searching really quickly here, but it says under the statute 32 BSA 5259, the decision on whether to conduct tax sales annually is considered a policy matter, which is what you're basically saying, falling within the board's normal authority to manage tax collection processes.
okay.
So, in
Well,
most
that's
Vermont
useful.
towns,
Since we were-
establishing tax sale frequency, including adopting an annual schedule, is handled by the select board, not by a town meeting vote. The town meeting votes are typically required, which is, we just said, for electing or appointing a collector, you know, approving the budgets, the tax rates, the other mandates associated with it.
Good, okay.
But we could put it in there just for
I just said if permitted by
Yeah.
boards, yeah.
yeah.
So, how does our board feel about moving on this proposal to, that the select board would, I mean, I'm just asking for a kind of response, not even a straw vote.
What's the motion?
Well, to that the select board would ask the Guilford delinquent tax collector to conduct annual tax sales, which are permitted by statute. I mean, I just feel as if I know what the pros are. I don't know whether there's any discussion of what the cons, you know, why we would not want to do that before I vote on it. I would want to know what the downside of it is, you know. I mean, considering that Ellie's process, we have heard exhaustively about it, and anybody who knows Ellie knows that she would follow that protocol above and beyond, we won't always have Ellie to be our delinquent tax collector. I'm just throwing it out there. Does anybody have any concerns about it? Or should we just
You
vote on
talked
it?
about workload, but I think that if we were to do this, the workload would be less and less and less, just like
Yes.
Brattleboro had none. So, maybe it's at 6 now, next year it'll be 4, the year after there might be 1. That would be the hopes, right?
Yeah.
That would be the host, but if you take a look at what our current
It's
delinquent tax
430
group is,
grand.
there's a lot.
I mean, that's like,
We're talking about 7 properties right now.
but I mean, yeah, but
Was
you're
it
looking at
reduced
the
to
big
6?
picture for total tax
6, sorry.
delinquency, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what this is pertaining to as well, not just 6 specific properties, but down the line, annual tax sales and stuff, et
Yeah.
cetera, right? Because when I looked at it, I mean, 12% delinquency isn't just a percentage, it's a real number. And most Vermont towns that I looked at, I'm not gonna look at all 252 of them, but are under 5%. Ours is 12%. So that's 430 grand, that's roughly, I mean, if you,
430 grand is more than 12%.
You know,
It's
but-
like 20, 15.
so it's, the math's a little off. But, some people own multiple parcels of property, but if there's, last census, 1,046 homes here in Guilford, that's, 100 to 125 houses that aren't paying taxes. And then that forces us to dip into reserve fund and, it creates a hole, and then that creates an entire different set of issues, having to dip into a reserve fund, which I'd rather avoid. So, it's just, I think the process under Ellie and what we sat through at the meetings and everything it's compassionate, it's patient, it's understanding. The legislature has changed it to really be accommodating and to the degree that we need to be, and totally empathetic, but at the same time, I'll just say 12%, if you wanna say 20, then, it's unfair to the 80% who are paying their taxes to have 20% not paying their taxes, because then that drives up taxes.
Okay. Mike, did you have an opinion about this?
No,
I'll get right over
well, I
to
think
you.
we should move forward with it.
Okay.
I think,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
that's all right.
Ellie, did you want to say something more?
Again, I'm in favor of doing it. I mean, if we look at our history, the last tax sale was 7 years ago. And I really don't know when there was one before that. Lisa was having a hard time trying to figure out when a tax sale was before that. So we've had a number of years where we haven't been doing tax sales. And that's where I think, if we do start doing them on a regular basis, we will be able to get things under control.
Okay.
Just a correction, I'm not a representative to the Algiers Fire District.
Oh, okay,
I'm
good.
just,
Guiding hand.
Financial services.
yes, and they are going to stand on their own 2 feet
Okay.
soon.
No, I'm glad for that, Ellie.
I'm excited about it.
Okay, well, I guess I feel comfortable then to, I move that the select board request that the delinquent tax collector conduct annual delinquent tax sales. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further conversation?
I
Yeah,
I actually would just like to change that a little bit.
oh, please.
Just because of the issue of you have to wait a year before you can take someone to tax sale. That maybe you could say a minimum of every other year.
Well, then you kind of handcuff yourself,
I
you
think
could word it.
It's the first year is gonna be an issue. The second, if, let's say you successfully, you're
I don't think we're
successful.
gonna get down to.
Okay,
well,
so you're probably not gonna get down to 0, so we're still gonna have one, but maybe
They're all
that's the
gonna-
next year.
Oh, I have a suggestion that might, just a word change. How would it be to change the word conduct to initiate?
Yeah, that's fine.
to initiate annual?
No,
No?
it's a whole process. It's not, you don't just start it, you have to follow through.
But if,
I think there's gonna be enough properties on there where the year isn't gonna really be a handcuff at all,
Yeah.
to be honest with
I
you.
agree.
so go
At
back
least
to,
not for a while.
At least not for a while. You got at least 5 years.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
okay,
Please.
well, what would be the proper,
I just leave
Um,
it
Leave it
like,
like it
All
was.
right,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll rescind my suggestion.
yeah, I think how it was worded.
Right, and
was
if there's
adopted.
no
Okay.
eligible proproperties, then.
There's no
Just don't
tax,
do it.
there's
Right.
no need.
Tax
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
okay, so we have a second, and we've had discussion, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Okay, well, this is a signature moment for
So
our
do we
select
want to
board.
consider the other recommendation?
Can you read it out loud?
Okay, this is something that Bob Fisher, the attorney, proposed, which is why I went to this thing, Chip, you've been involved too with Ellie. The select board authorized a member of the select board to act as its agent during a tax sale to bid on properties that otherwise would remain as is on the grand list.
Oh, yeah.
And that the select board carefully analyze the results of such action 12 and 18 months after the tax sale to determine the best protocol for going forward.
So would this be just to vote for this principle or to recommend somebody to be the authorized select board member to do this?
So Verena, we have to decide if we're going to do it and then appoint somebody. And we have to decide either tonight or August 11th.
Okay, then let's move
And
along.
if we do it, we have to do it annually, because things can change.
Yeah.
On the
If we
Okay.
select- Yeah,
Okay, so I so move that we authorize, I don't need to read this all over, you have it in front of you. Is there a second?
second.
Okay, is there any further discussion of this? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Okay.
So,
Go ahead, Chip, did you have something?
yeah, no,
you
so
wanted to say?
next time we do it, we designate somebody. That's a position that's usually filled by the select board chair or the treasurer. So,
Not
No.
the treasurer.
not the treasurer?
That would be a conflict of interest.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that,
I have, Sean has his hand up.
oh, okay, Sean, would you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment. I really appreciate the recognition of the difficulty of this whole process. And I'd also like to make sure that my voice is in favor of what Ellie has done. She has been so sensitive, and it's a huge job. And I didn't know that much about it. I mean, listers don't really have anything to do with taxes per se, but I would just like to commend Ellie for what she's done and continues to do. So
Well put.
Yes,
Duly
Nice job.
noted, Sean.
thank
And
you.
thank you for your work as a lister. Okay, well, I'd like to appoint Sheila as the select board member to act as its agent. And I'll say why if we put this motion in action.
Could we appoint an alternate in case Sheila's not available?
Okay, so Chip, would you be
No,
willing to
absolutely not. No.
to be an alternate?
Nope, not gonna do it. I still, no, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't see any reason why I won't be here, but if I'm not,
I don't know if it's that time sensitive unless like the
this
window's
is the
6
25th, we have
months
to
or,
be there on the 25th.
yeah. No, but I mean,
25th of what?
August,
That's the tax.
that's the tax sale day.
yeah.
So can you be there?
I think so, but I was just saying that if,
that's
We have
why
to I second your nomination of Sheila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there further conversation about this?
I just can't get, I will do it, but I just can't get pinned down to a specific date, especially as we close in on the start of the NFL
Okay.
season. Like, which is literally like right around the corner.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to be considered for this position? I mean, I feel as select board chair that I don't bring enough skill to this to be of comparable value. It's not that I'm trying to shirk it. It's that I'm at the edge of my understanding just to follow along. So, okay. So shall we vote on Sheila? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, do you want to vote for yourself, Sheila?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's unanimous. Okay. Okay. Well, that was a huge piece of work, select board.
Sure was, thanks.
Yeah.
Ellie, nice job.
Thank you,
Sheila, nice
Ellie.
job.
Really, I mean,
You put it in
was,
such plain language too. You should have written in manual that we had to go through. That was brutal.
it was painful. Okay, so, so now.
Tax rate.
Something light.
Have fun.
That's right, well,
I'm
tally
going
ho.
to share
and-
my screen because I have the calculation here. There is not really a lot of alternative things here to think about. The tax rate is set using the articles approved at town meeting. In addition to the the state set education rate, which this year is lower than last year, by just a little bit, so that's good news. We also have our voted exemptions, for tax exempt properties and for disabled veterans.
So this is just for disabled veterans?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, and they have to go through a whole special
Okay.
thing, and
I believe they need to be 50% disabled as well.
we
Okay.
have 11 folks who qualify for that in town. So we came out with the final calculation of the homestead rate being 2.046275, and the non-homestead rate being 1.933775.
That's pretty good. It was a drop in rate, actually. It's a decrease, isn't it? I think it is.
It is. And I think that can be ascribed to the education rate.
Yeah.
Lowered from last year. Last year's education rate, this year it was 1.4713 for homestead, and last year that was 1.569, so a whole 0.1%.
okay. So,
I move we set the tax rate at as per tax rate sheet.
Perfect. I second that.
okay, is there any further discussion? I'll be curious to see whether in the coming year there gets to be any traction for taxing second homeowners at a higher rate. I mean, that's not really pertinent to this conversation, this motion right now, but it is something that's in the back of my mind.
Is that something in the legislature?
Well, I mean, it's not something that's in play right now. It was a recommendation for how to make, I'm always noticing that the non-residential rate is lower because they're not, they don't have kids in the school, et cetera. But perhaps people having two homes have the capacity to pay more is what the conversation that I heard was. But, I mean, that's just a sidebar to what we're talking about now.
Now, would that take into account somebody that owned two homes but lived locally and rented a second home?
I have no
Because
idea,
they would be
Sarah.
able to reside in both homes, so.
Well, I guess, I really don't know. I think it's, just something, you know, whenever I look at these two numbers,
Yeah.
I always have a question about capacity to pay, but that's,
Well,
And
that's
you would
also
think
where
vacation.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I mean, you would assume vacation home if they're non-residential, right?
Yeah, the way Rhode Island did it, remember they had this big Taylor Swift tax? Of course, it was like, you know, cause she, you know, has that home, but now their property value is way over ours, but so they set a minimum a base of $1 million. And for every second home valued over $1 million not used as a primary residence, which was 183 days of residency total, their tax rate went like way up, like ridiculous. You know, like a $3 million property would have to be spending $10,000 to $20,000 more a year on property taxes. if it was a
Well,
second.
anyway,
It's a good idea.
we haven't got Taylor
No.
here in Guilford right now, so
Not yet.
I'm sorry I
Just an
brought it up.
example.
No, you don't
Okay.
have to be sorry.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, moving
I'm just
on.
curious.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I was just gonna say that,
I'd say,
don't-
Miranda for state
Wait a
legislature.
second, I called on Ellie after I brought up that irrelevant thing, okay.
I was just gonna say, a lot of people forget though, even though the homestead rate is higher, that
The homestead
Homestead have-
declaration,
those who have filed the homestead declaration on time and are eligible because of their income can get credits towards their taxes.
Right.
Those who are not homestead cannot.
okay.
So it's not a wash by any means, but it's an attempted.
So anyway, Miranda's got us taking a hard left turn in the middle of this meeting.
No.
Can we get back on track for gosh?
No, we're getting right back on
All right,
track.
come on,
Time
Miranda.
to vote.
Damn line.
I don't, yeah, it's time to vote, okay. You understand the issue, the
Yes.
actual issue that we're talking about. All in favor of setting the tax rate as is shown on this form, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, abstaining? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, so next is a training opportunity for both Erica and Ellie. We have to approve the letters of support for staff applications for them to attend the local government institute so that they can be even more competent than they already are. So I would move that we approve these letters
I
of,
second that.
approve their applications, correct? Or the letters of support?
Yes, so
Yes.
approve the letters of
Yes.
support along with the application.
Okay.
Yeah.
So move.
I will second that, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
It's a
any-
brilliant letter.
Any discussion? Okay, all in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, see, we're gonna move along much better now. Okay, so the library trustee vacancy, Sandra Cortez has resigned as a library trustee after years of wonderful service. And so our action, I guess, is that we need to accept her resignation.
Well,
No,
yes, you can do that, but also the select board needs to issue this notice of vacancy that you all may have seen before.
Oh, okay, so is our motion to post the notice of vacancy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I so move.
I'll second that too.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Abstaining,
And I
none.
can tell you all that the trustees will most likely have a recommendation as to who
Right.
should be appointed to fill that spot.
And I'll send an informal note to Sandra thanking her
Yes, she wrote
for,
a lovely letter. She's been a trustee for 11 years.
for 11 years, as well as being one of the most long-term educators at Guilford School. So she really spanned the generations there. Okay, so next is to approve non-employee work agreements for Chris Parker in relation to the work that they did on the library.
Yeah.
The library
The
steps.
steps look amazing.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
really good.
did that?
Huh?
We didn't already do that?
No, we
This
did.
is, this
somebody
is
else.
something new.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of those.
Non-employee
Yeah,
work
we just
agreement,
need it.
it's a housekeeping issue.
Yes.
So who wants to move it?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Tara, you wanted a
I'll
second?
second it, yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we have passed it. So is there other business?
No.
No.
Good. Do we have any correspondence?
Yeah, and it might also be other business, so I just,
Oh, okay.
I wanna know what you all think, because we had a situation where a tree was down across the road and there was somebody trying to get in touch with somebody. And I understand that most people have phones and they can go online and look up numbers. But Chucky Mayak couldn't get in touch with anyone at the office, couldn't get in touch with Jimmy, just kept calling around. So I didn't know if there was something, maybe we could put a message on the telephone saying, in case of emergency, like we're not in because it's off hours, but in case of emergency, call. And then who would we have call? Would we have them call Jimmy? Would we have them call Dan Engel? Because there are things that happen, like we could have trees down, we could have flooding, we could have a moose being hit in the road, we could have transformers on fire. So I'm just wondering if there's any telephone way that, or what your thoughts are.
Well, I wonder if we could study that in the next couple of weeks, Tara. Maybe you could be the head of our task force
Okay.
on
It's a good idea.
miscellaneous emergencies.
Sure.
And I have an idea about, a future way to do it in just, part of emergency management is to have hub managers, people who are in charge of different parts of town and who are going to help find out what the strengths, what the capacities and skills and equipment are of people who live in different neighborhoods. And so, I think it's a really good idea to know if something is too, if there's somebody in that hub who's got a chainsaw and can just come out and do it, the way neighbors keep on doing that. But if it's too big, then we have to have a process, that's more, that's stronger. So we should talk about that.
And not have to go on the website and have to look for people on the website in an emergency situation.
Well,
Maybe just get one number and then be able to say, for an emergency,
It's a good
call
idea.
this person.
Yeah, I wonder if the tree warden could be part of that. I don't think it's in his job
I
description.
think that's
but-
Jimmy.
No,
Tree
it's-
warden,
It's Dan, isn't it?
No,
It's
no,
Matt.
it's Matt Stinchfield.
Oh, that's right. Yep,
And he
yep,
will
yep.
join us next meeting to talk
Yeah,
about.
so maybe that would be an interesting thing. Okay, well, thanks for bringing
Yeah,
that up.
we'll
It's
just
not
have
on
a
our agenda,
brainstorm.
so.
That was good. Going on.
Yeah, okay, do we have correspondence?
Yes, we got a message from BDCC about their annual Get On Board program. This was in the folder. And they just wanted to make the select board aware that they were kicking it off again. It starts on September 20th. And
And it's to build strength for board members?
it's to get new people to join groups.
Boards of all
boards.
kinds?
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
commissions.
uh-huh. Okay,
So there's a Southern Vermont Municipal Leaders Network Town Building Symposium. Town Building Symposium. Nothing to do with actual buildings.
oh, town
August
building capacity.
Town building capacity, yes. So they're also sponsoring that, and that's August 28th in
Okay.
Warrensboro at the town hall.
In Wardsboro.
It actually, sorry,
Go ahead.
are we looking at the BDCC thing?
Yeah.
Because their letter says May 28th.
Oh, I know, it's.
And then it says on August 20th, we'll address town-owned buildings, which can make up a significant part of annual town budgets.
Oh, so that is part of buildings.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
okay.
Okay.
It is a town building symposium.
yes.
Oh, a town building,
Building
so,
symposium,
so we're not building capacity, we're looking at buildings.
buildings.
Okay, I think that we've run through our capacity.
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay, well, we've certainly plowed through a lot. So actions that we have taken at this meeting, we approved minutes, we approved warrants. We approved the ditching bid for MT3 on Stage Road. We created a fund to track the Slate Rock Culvert Fund and finished the housekeeping on source of funds for the Slate Rock Culvert project. We took a decision, actually, that was not yet planned, about assigning an annual tax sale, and we appointed a liaison from the town select board to the tax sale process. We set the town tax rate, we approved a training opportunity, we approved a notice about the library trustee vacancy, and we approved the non-employee work agreement for Chris Parker and family. And so, actions to be taken. Let's see, Tara, you and I can put our heads together about the tree falling into wilderness for our other emergency process. And I'm not sure what other actions we need to take between this meeting and the next. But without knowing more about that, I think we can thank everybody for a very productive meeting and entertain the motion.
I'll make that motion to
Will
adjourn.
you make that motion?
Yes.
And who would
Love
like to
that.
second
And I'll
it?
second.
My favorite.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no abstentions. So good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.